Bonjour et bienvenue Bonjour Bathurst. Nous sommes ici avec Annabelle Hickson, une journaliste, podcasteur et une très talentueuse photographe. Elle a pris les rêves, les passions et puis a fait sa carrière. Elle vit seule, une femme avec son mari, trois petits enfants et beaucoup de vicieux espèces animales. La question pour Annabelle.
Quelles sont vos choses préférées dans le pays?
Bonjour tout le monde. Je vais parler en anglais. Mon français a besoin de pratique. Je m'excuse. Okay, my chose favorite, my favorite things. My favorite things. Do you mean my favorite things in life?
Just say yes.
In the country.
Oh, in the country. Well, I can answer that very clearly. The freedom and space, the sound of all the birds, the fact that my children can ride motorbikes and ride over to the neighbours by themselves without me, that's one of my very favourite things. And having my big dog, Pomfret, who is a Newfoundland, and she can just roam around here too.
Qu'est-ce qui et comment votre amour de la lecture?
En anglais, s'il vous plaît.
What started your love of writing?
Reading. Reading started my love of writing. I think that anyone who likes to write likes to read. And I think it's like, if you like to eat food, you also like to cook. It's the same sort of thing. And yeah, writing's brought me a lot of joy.
Qu'est-ce qui vous a inspiré produire Gala?
What inspired me to produce Galah?
Yeah.
Okay, très bien, merci. What inspired me to produce Galah is that I grew up in Sydney and I only moved to the country when I married a farmer. So I didn't really know anything about life in regional Australia. And I think before I got here, I just assumed that maybe it wasn't that exciting out here, and I couldn't have been more wrong. I love life out in regional Australia. I feel really lucky to be here. I think a lot of stuff you see on the news about regional Australia is when bad things happen, like floods, fires, things like that. But I really wanted to create something like Galah to tell the stories of the good things that happen and the smart people who live out here and the exciting things. So that's why I started Galah.
Innovation de qui vous avez eu beaucoup d'expérience. Quel conseil de la vie pouvez-vous partager avec des jeunes femmes et des hommes naviguer dans la vie?
En anglais, s'il vous plaît.
It goes without saying that you have had many experiences. What advice can you give young women and men navigating through life?
Courage. I think courage and enthusiasm. Never ever pretend that you're not as enthusiastic as you feel. I think when you're enthusiastic and when you're feeling courageous, people just share everything with you and they want you to be part of their world and they open doors for you. So never try to be too cool and not enthusiastic. I think that's my main advice.
À votre avis, est-ce que c'est important de voir une autre langue?
And en anglais, s'il vous plaît.
In your opinion, is it important to have another language?
Yes, and so as you can tell, my French is sort of non-existent. But when I was in year 10, believe it or not, I did go to France as an exchange student for one term. And even though I knew really no French when I got there, it opened up my whole world to travelling. And I think just by learning a little bit of French, it just made me feel more confident about navigating my way through a different country. And so as a teenager, that sort of gave me that confidence. And then as I've grown up, I've never been scared to travel. And I think that by learning another language, you also learn how hard it is to learn another language. and that can give you a lot of empathy for people who are trying to learn language and people who move to Australia and English isn't their first language. I think if you've had a go at trying to learn another language, you know how hard it can be, and it can make you be a person with more empathy. So I think it's very important to learn another language.
Qui sont vos plus grands influenceurs dans votre vie?
So that is who is the biggest influence in my life.
Yeah.
Well, this sounds really cheesy, and I hope you guys don't groan, but the biggest influence in my life is my husband. He's a farmer, he's really different to me, he's really good at business, he's really good at maths, he's really good at lots of things that I'm not, and I've learned a lot from him, and it's because of him that I live where I do, and I just feel really lucky that I met him and he changed the course of my life.
Merci.
Ah, de rien. Merci à vous.